Hi folks, this is Joe Pajaree of the Joe Pajaree Project. This is a behind the scenes look on how it all gets put together, the equipment that I use, the software, etc. And so look for live videos starting in November. Please like and subscribe. Let's start off with what type of processing equipment I have. I've got an HP laptop which was given to me by a good friend named Mary, who was generous enough to give me this laptop, in which I had an original laptop, and I had a nightmare in the middle of the night, kicked over a cup of coffee, spilt it all over my laptop, and killed it. So Mary was generous enough to give me one of her extra computers, her and a friend named Billy, which was very nice of them. It is an HP laptop. It has 20 gigabytes of power, and I'm running a Pentium processor on it. It continuously crashes on me simply because with the amount of mixing that I do and the massive amount of production that I do on each song, it shuts the computer down. So hopefully someday I just make do with what I have and do the best I can. And hopefully someday we'll have an upgrade and get a processing unit and a computer system which can handle the amount of mixing and production that I do. Next up, we have the Launch Key Mini 3 keypad, in which it's a nice little keypad that I use to interface with Pro Tools and use the Expand 2 programming on their software to get a lot of voices and to lay down some nice loop tracks and MIDI tracks. And so it's a good system. However, it does have a glitch, and every now and then it will start muting and unmuting tracks as it sees fit. So there's a little bit of a flaw to it there, a little bug in the system. But it's a nice unit, and it was a good friend named Jimmy gave that to me, and so I appreciate that. Next up, we have the Korg i3 workstation, which is a nice keyboard. It has many voices and a lot of functionality, and I can also use that with MIDI on many of the productions in conjunction with the Novation Launch Key MIDI that I have. And so it's nice to have, and you get a lot of string voices and you get a lot of nice keyboard sounds out of it. And so it's a good system to go with. It was given to me by a good friend of mine named John. Next up, we have the Ibanez electric guitar, which I use for various tunings, and it's just an alternate good guitar to have. And I also have just a name brand bass that was given to me by a good friend named Kyle, who it's not a fancy one, but it gets the job done, and that's the main thing. And so I appreciate Kyle giving that to me. That was very nice of him. Next up, we have the standard name brand cello that I use, and I lay down a lot of string parts on the songs, and I back those up with, of course, the i3 workstation keyboard to enhance the string sounds that I use. And so it's a good overall cello. It's a workhorse, and I appreciate it. It was a gift from a good friend of mine named John. Thank you. Next up, we have the Dobro guitar, which is a resonator guitar, which I use on a lot of blues songs. I'll use it in the background. It's a nice overall sound, and it was given to me by a good friend named John, and so I appreciate that, John. I appreciate it. It's a good overall guitar, and I definitely get a lot of use out of it. Next up, we have the Alvarez 6-string acoustic guitar, which is, of course, one of my favorites that I work with and write with. It was given to me by a good friend named Jimmy from Texas. And so, yeah, I get a lot of work out of that, and it's a staple to a lot of my writing. So I appreciate that, Jimmy. Thank you. Next up, we have the Les Paul Epiphone, which is I use on a lot of rock songs that I write, a lot of just overall electric sound that I use. It's a good guitar. It's able to keep its tone, and it was given to me by a good friend named Jimmy from Texas. So Jimmy, I appreciate that. Thank you. Next up, we have the Washburn 5-string banjo. It's a very nice banjo. It has a really good sound. The trick to it is just making sure that you get it mic'd properly. And you can hear some of the banjo tunes that I play, which are Bocephus, the Magical Dancing Frog, of course, which is one of the children's songs that I wrote. And of course on Thanksgiving song, and various other songs that'll bring it in. And so, yeah, it's a nice addition that rounds out the overall sound of my work. And it was given to me by a good friend named John. Thank you, John. Next up, we have the Luna 12-string guitar, which is an electric acoustic guitar, which is very nice. Has a wonderful sound, good sound, and I use that on a lot of songs as well. And so that was given to me by a good friend named John. John, thank you very much, from New York. Next up, we have the Mirio 8-string mandolin, which is a good overall mandolin. It's not electric, but I do mic it and able to get good sound out of it. I use it on a lot of Led Zeppelin covers that I do. And it's also, beside it, is your just standard issue violin, no brand name. And I use that to write a lot of the string parts, and back that up with, of course, the i3 Korg music workstation to supplement and enhance a lot of the songs that I. Next up, we have the Scarlett Studio microphone, which is from Focusrite. It was given to me by a good friend named Roy, which started me on this journey of recording, in which I had mentioned to him that I was a musician, that I did play, and literally I had no instruments or equipment at all. And he was generous enough to pass this microphone along to me. And it's a good overall microphone. I use that with, of course, the windscreen there in front to reduce popping and sounds like that, and crackles, etc. And so it's a good microphone to use. And I use it in miking and, of course, vocals and any other production that I use. So thank you, Roy. I appreciate that. Then, of course, we have the HD Movie Maker Pro, which is a program that I use for putting together videos, stitching together videos, and adding in live video, as well as slideshows as well. And it's a fairly inexpensive piece of software, but it gets the job done, and I work the hell out of it. And so this was given to me by a good friend from Canada named Scott. And so without Scott from Canada, y'all would never see these videos. So thank you, Scott. Next up, we have the Cadence ukulele, which is a good ukulele. It's an electric ukulele. And it was given to me by a good friend named John from New York. And I use it as a go-to for inspiration in coming up with new songs. Next up, we have the Hohner harmonica package, which you can hear on a lot of blues tunes as well as acoustic tunes like Oklahoma. And they have a good overall sound, not the greatest in the world, but they get the job done. Hi folks, it's Joe Pajaree, the Joe Pajaree Project. Well, now you see how I get the production done. I write, arrange, produce, play all the instruments. And so look for more live video in the future. And please go to reverbnation.com/the Joe Pajaree Project for more great music. Please like and subscribe.